Hello and welcome to Decoding New Economy. Today I'm joined by Steve Orell, co-founder of Proximity Insight, and we're going to be talking about beacons, co-location software and the general trends in many of these industries. Steve, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's kick off first with what does Proximity Insight do?
Okay, so Proximity Insight has built really the first product that's tying true CRM to iBeacons. And what that means is we can all of a sudden give the iBeacon experience real locational context. So we're taking customer data that businesses have got already stored in environments like Salesforce, and we're actually making that actionable in the real world. So I'll give you an example. We might do notifying someone like a bellhop that you've arrived at a hotel, and we're able to say, okay, hey, we know Steve's here, we know he's just been on a 24-hour flight from Australia, and we know he left a bad review on Yelp last time he was here, so we're going to get down and assist him straight away.
Right. So how long have you been running the business?
So the business actually started at the Dreamforce hackathon a year ago. We've been running for a year. The product has actually been on Salesforce's App Exchange for about 2 months now.
Right.
And we have our first couple of customers in the last 2 months, and we're really getting a lot of traction at the moment.
Right. Now we're at Dreamforce 14 in San Francisco at the moment. How have you found coming, was it fourth last year in that hackathon?
It was, we placed, I think it was out of the top 5, but look, it was a fantastic experience. We've got to say Salesforce is a great platform to build upon, and it's a real testimony for how great Salesforce is for developers and the fact that we've been able to come so far in such a relatively short piece of time. And really, this Dreamforce has been fantastic for us. We've had really great positions. We were part of the Wearables keynote. We've done a lot of spots about how the face of retail is changing, how we really are looking at the first opportunity to do a truly omni-channel strategy for retailers, combining what's going on in the brick and mortar environment with people's preferences, what people are doing online, and making this new customer experience, which was really seamless and almost creating a new tier of VIP by integrating all that data.
Yeah. So how did the idea come about?
So really, we've actually got people from a diverse sort of cross-section in our team, and I'm actually come from a retail background. We've got people, we've got a couple of devs from Salesforce who are MVPs, fantastic guys, really experienced on the platform. And sort of the beacon technology came up, so what we said, I know from experience that retailers are looking for customer experience right now in the brick and mortar world. That's how they're going to, insulate themselves against what's going on in online. So this iBeacon technology came up, and we saw this as being a huge opportunity, and it's played out that iBeacons are really one of the hottest things right now.
Sure.
But the way iBeacon strategies are going to be successful is if you really know the person who's standing there. It's not just about knowing that I've got a customer standing in this place with an app. What things like Salesforce enable you to do is know, hey, I've got a customer, it's Steve standing in this place, and you're able to treat him in a special way. So you're able to know, hey, he's angry, he's coming back to return a product, versus, hey, he's coming here to shop, and you can act appropriately. And that's really where the iBeacon space is going.
So getting that context, though, so you've got to have that rich data in the background.
I think it's the huge difference, and I think a lot of people, iBeacons are so hot as a technology, but really the first deployments have been a bit underwhelming with the exception of a few good ones, but it's because you don't have that context. What iBeacons all of a sudden enable you to do is tie a person to a place, but you need to know it's that person, and you need to give them that extra special service because it's personalised, and that's what retailers want to do. They're the guys we're sort of dealing with at the moment. They're our customers, and absolutely, it's really taking off.
Yeah. Now, retail seems to be the biggest sector that's interested in iBeacons. Here in the States, probably the most aggressive adopters are the sports stadiums.
Absolutely.
What other areas are you seeing are adopting them?
I mean, I think retailers are really good. Firstly, the key to having good iBeacon strategy, I think, is the app. So the reason retailers are early adopters is because they have really good app penetration already. And hence it's a really necessary thing for us to sort of be aligned to retailers. Sports stadiums are great. They're doing, I think, the best one, like Major League Baseball is doing at the ballpark. They're communicating information about what's going on at the stadium to all of their fans, what's going on. And the NBA are doing great stuff upselling tickets. It's but simple stuff. It's about knowing someone's in a location and triggering an action. We think there's a lot more of a sort of value in actually knowing, hey, Steve is just walking the gate. I'm gonna, I don't need to wait for him to go up into the bleachers to send him an offer to upgrade his seat. I know where he's already going to sit.
Sure.
Let's take him straight there now. So absolutely, sport is great. Absolutely, retail is great. I think hospitality is a huge one.
Yeah.
For the, similar to the example that I gave you, where, you really want to know who's around the place, who's around the properties, and give them that extra special service. So the more you can know about someone, the better you can just sort of tailor a VIP experience. So hospitality is huge. Casinos are sort of a subset of hospitality, but we're talking to a lot of operators, and I think that, those touch points are going to make a huge difference there. But there's also like events is another huge opportunity for iBeacons, stuff that we're not necessarily doing, but there's so many opportunities to tie different things in. Like you can look at stuff like customer sentiment through social media even, and work out through iBeacons where people who are having negative tweets might be standing, and actually go and actionably be able to go down there and solve a problem.
Right.
I would say so. Also, I would say airports, anywhere that you've got like a large ecosystem where there's a whole lot of different type of interactions happening is a great prospect for iBeacons. Because you can tell someone where to park their car, and then how long it's going to take them to move through the gates, and what time they're going to arrive at the departure gate. You can let the airline can work out if someone's missing their flight, whereabouts they are. The retailers there can communicate with customers. So that's a really good one. Also, from the same perspective, sort of, I think universities are a great one. You've already got all the students who have the apps, so you've already got great penetration with the app. And then you've got all these different kinds of interactions going on. It's like ticketing with sports. It's retail with books. It's checking into class seamlessly. Instead of having to sign a roster, you can just detect that people are there, and you can sign off the roll automatically. It just makes the students' life so much easier. I think Beacons, and just this principle of almost connecting people to a space through some sort of device. It's applicable everywhere. It's all about just making everyday life so much more seamless. It's like with the hotel. Why check in? Why not just be able to walk there and have your mobile device do it all for you? Stuff like that. There's opportunities in every sector almost, I would say.
Now, lots of businesses, as a consequence of that, are looking at how they can use Beacons in their business. What would be your advice for a business that's just putting their toes in the water for this?
I think there's a couple of things with the value proposition of Beacons which are really important. Firstly, I mentioned this already, you need to have a great app strategy, and your Beacon strategies aren't going to be effective if no one's got your app, so no one's interacting with the Beacons. So, and that means necessarily, you have to have some sort of value add in there. And whether it is something that integrates with the Beacons, or whether it's something totally external to that, you absolutely need people to have your app to get some value out of it. Other things I think really key, like everyone's talking about the creepiness factor with Beacons. It's a super sort of contentious topic, and I think it's really important for brands. This is what we're saying with everyone we work with. You have to be transparent about what you're doing, and you have to actually be delivering something to the customer that's more than just tracking them. So using the hotel example for a while, are you going to be willing to give up this piece of data that says, hey, we're going to know when you've walked in the door? So in that instance, the bellhop's going to come down, he's going to grab your bag, he's going to take you to your room, you're not going to have to check up, check in. Like, that's such a powerful thing, People are going to opt into that. It's all about taking the scariness out of it, saying we're using Beacons to actually enhance the customer experience rather than, really using Beacons to track people. It's not about that at all. It's about making the whole retail experience better, or the whole hotel experience better. You need to absolutely be transparent. Your strategy is all about making the journey better, and that's where all the incremental, revenue is. Like, it's going to be great to track people. A lot of people are interested in the analytics side. And absolutely, but you need to make sure that you're using that data for a real purpose that's going to benefit the customer, and you need to say, okay, this is what we're doing, and this is why you're better off. So I think that's something that we're really conscious of, and we're talking to a lot of brands at the moment. Those are the kind of questions that they're raising. Like, they need to be really careful with how they manage it, because their customers are so important to them. And the Beacon space, it's like all of the things we're talking about. It's really it's sort of an extension of tracking cookies. It's like the same sort of concept, but you need to manage how you roll that out, and you need to make sure everyone realizes what's going on, and like say, we're going to make your experience so much better as a result of that. And I think that's the key. That's what retailers are really looking for at the moment.
Yeah. So adding that value for the customer.
Sure.
Yeah. So just changing the topic a bit. So you've got a startup there.
Uh-huh.
You've taken it around the world. What's your advice to people looking at starting up businesses in this space?
Look, I mean, I think the biggest thing I've found, like honestly, we have been able to, partner with people. It's about talking to people. It's about really getting people on your side and getting, getting that critical mass that's able to push things further along. And it's sort of generic advice, but for us, it was about looking for something that was really smart, which was like, hey, Salesforce are making a big push into retail. Hey, there's this technology iBeacons that are coming along. Now we're doing stuff with wearables. Like, we're just being very practical about what we're choosing to work with.
Right.
And because of that, we're able to foster a lot of buy-in from, it means we're able to talk to retailers everywhere, like everyone's interested in what we're doing. We're able to get great support from our partners, like including Salesforce.
Steve, where do you see Proximity Insight being in 5 years' time?
Okay, so I think Proximity Insight in 5 years' time, we really want to be leaders in this new area of data science, which I think is coming from all of us at like locational context and knowing what people are doing. And I think there's a huge opportunity for us to really be able to, whether it's through iBeacons or there's a whole lot of technologies intersecting at the moment, but we're the first people who are really going in there and providing this true CRM iBeacon experience. So what we want to do, we want to be the people who are experts in that field, who know, this is how you interact with customers using online data. This is what you do in the physical world. We know retailers as, so keen to have, answers about how we make experience in store better. We want to be the people who guide them in that experience.
Right. That sounds great, and best of luck with it, Steve.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you. And thank you very much for joining Decoding the New Economy.